Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another Fallout 4 modding video. It is, of course, time for yet another Commonwealth Weaponry expansion release, and today we're checking out the Police Shotgun, a brand new pump-action shotgun based on the Remington 870. And believe it or not, this is actually my first pump-action shotgun. I haven't done one yet, somehow, and I've always wanted to, so we decided to go ahead and do one, and we wanted to do one a little bit more unique than your typical Remington 870. This was a really hard decision because I love Remington 870s. It's probably my favorite pump-action shotgun, but we already have quite a few, especially in the form of the hunting shotgun from Fallout New Vegas, which I wouldn't have minded to do, but we already have that, and we already have it made pretty well by other really talented mod authors, so I wanted to do something a little bit more different, which is why we came up with the Police Shotgun. It is still a 12-gauge pump action, but it is designed and based on a little bit more of that 80s style two-tone retro police vibes with the folding stocks and the wood grip in front, but the plastic in the back. It's a pretty interesting design. And now I've already seen a lot of people asking, where's the wood? Where's the wood stock? And we do wood in pretty much every single gun. Plastic is still a thing in Fallout, especially pre-war, especially things from like the 80s. So they do exist, but we wanted something a bit more different. If you want a wood stock, full-length shotgun, you can get that. You can download the hunting shotgun right now from Deadpool and use it alongside the police shotgun, and they'll still look visually distinct enough to be different guns. If you like variety in your Commonwealth, this is a good way to get more pump-action shotguns out there and not have them all be identical. Now, functionally, this thing is going to be a bit of a mid-game shotgun, earlier than the combat shotgun, later than the double barrel, as it does have a bigger capacity, but of course is manual action. So it's going to serve some sort of in-between role, which I think is something the vanilla game really needed. And I really think that after testing, this thing is a really fun weapon to use. It's a great weapon for hunting down feral ghouls with. And for some reason, we just didn't have one in vanilla, so a pump-action shotgun is a great one. If you're somebody who, for some reason, is only using my guns, now we have a manual action shotgun that fits really, really well in that slot. It's not too overpowered. It has similar damages to the vanilla shotguns, but again, it's manual action, tube-fed, and we even have animations that allow you to extend that tube length so you can have more than just a base version of shots, like, say, the vanilla lever action. You can actually upgrade that at the weapons workbench, which is really, really cool. Now, I mentioned animations. This thing, of course, has custom animations since it is a pump-action shotgun, and it even has built-in bullet-counted reload support, which is really, really fun. So one of the benefits of this weapon is you don't have to empty it to feel the need to reload. You can reload to top it off, which is a great immersive feature for pump-action weapons and lever-action weapons. Now, of course, this thing has a ton of customization over at the weapons workbench, lots of different attachments, including some accessories that help change the way the weapon functions. It'll always be a pump-action shotgun, but you can kind of spec into your favorite kind of build with this thing, whether you want more spread, tighter spread, long range, short range, or even some interesting effects added in the form of sub-ammo types. We even threw in something a little funky with this guy, a brand new attachment we've never done before that was a bit of an experiment that we just kind of threw into this mod to get it working. I'll talk about that one a bit more when we get to the weapons workbench, but I think you'll find it pretty interesting, and you'll see it in the gameplay as well. Now, of course, as with all of our mods, this weapon is added to the leveled list, so if you'd like to find it, it will be spawning out in the world, and this thing actually spawns on gunners and raider bosses after level 12, and you can, of course, find it on vendors as well. On top of that, though, there are also two uniques that you can find out in the world. We'll go over those, as always, right after we get over some of the basic details of the regular weapon, which we'll go ahead and do right now. Let's go ahead and jump in game and start checking this thing out, starting with its stats. So here we are in game with a pretty standard variant of the police shotgun with its full stock and long barrel, otherwise pretty standard. And this thing is a pretty strong weapon, but not too overpowered. Again, it is going to perform worse than the combat shotgun, but better than the double barrel. This thing has a base damage of 50. Ignore the 100 here. That is just because of some perks that I have on my character that I can't really remove because I am using the New Vegas perk system. So ignore that number and listen to what I'm telling you. This thing has a base damage of 50, which is identical to the combat shotgun. Again, they have the same damage output because they're both shooting 12-gauge buckshot, but this one, again, is pump action. So it is a little bit worse, which is why you find it earlier than the combat shotgun. This thing is enchambered in 12 gauge or shotgun shells if you're using a vanilla mod, a fire rate of 5, a range of 197, an accuracy of 45, a weight of 10.3 pounds, and a value of 100 caps. Now, this thing does not require munitions. It does use vanilla shotgun shells, so those of you who are not using munitions don't need to do anything with this. And if you do want to chamber it to something else for some reason, you can do that, of course, as well. You can patch this as much as you want. The perms are always open. Now then, this is a base version of the weapon. Let's check out some of the uniques that have some more interesting effects. Starting off with Unfinished Business. This thing is a really, really fun one. This has an all-black coating, no wood grip up here. We have all black with a sort of tactical stock, not overly tactical for Fallout, as this is based on the exact one from Fallout New Vegas' Assault Carbine, but similar to the real-life tactical stocks on Police Shotgun, sort of a mismatch of what would appear in Fallout as opposed to real life. Got a nice heat shield here, and this thing does 50% more damage against ghouls. A perfect zombie-killing shotgun, which makes sense because this was specifically designed after Chain Shotgun from The Walking Dead, so that's what you got here. A really, really fun one. A very simple unique, but one that works very, very well. But we do have some more interesting uniques that look a little bit more visually, well, interesting. And that other unique is going to be known as the Search Warrant. This has a nice police-themed skin, as you can see, with a nice police logo, some checkering, and Boston PD, which is really funny considering that you actually don't find this in Boston. But this thing has a chance to stagger on hit, which is a really nice effect. Whenever you have this, you will be able to knock people down, well, not entirely into ragdoll, but they won't be able to stand up and fight you if you keep shooting them. It's not super OP because, again, this is a pump action, so you won't be able to have them completely stun-locked, but it is still a nice, powerful effect, which lets you chamber the next round, and hopefully they won't be able to keep shooting at you the whole time. Kind of helps out with the pump action side of this weapon. Now, I forgot to mention the location on the last one, so we'll just go ahead and do both of those now. If you want to find this one, it's actually found over in Nahant's Sheriff Department, which, again, funny because it does say Boston PD, but, you know, whatever. And also, the other one is actually found over in Bedford Station. So if you want to get your hands on the previous unique, you can find that over in Bedford Station. It's actually hidden up in the tower of that location. Now then, of course, we need to talk about the custom animations with this weapon, as they are using some really, really cool ones from Combined Arms. I believe these ones were made by War Daddy, so big thanks to War Daddy and Nova Finch for this awesome anim set. Now then, starting off, we have an awesome equip animation. Of course, you have to have a good pump. And then, of course, let's go ahead and fire this thing a few times so we can see out the reload. So in its standard configuration, this thing holds 6 shells. As you can see, that was the full reload there. But as I said earlier, we do also have built-in bullet-counted reload support. I fired 2 shots. We reload 2 shots. Really, really simple. These are actually Spaz 12 animations, if you can believe it or not. And they fit really, really well on this weapon. So I've got to say, I like this thing quite a bit. And that even includes full third-person animations as well. And the bullet-counted reload works in third person as well. Quite an interesting anim set and quite an interesting gun. Now then, let's go ahead and check out the weapons workbench and see some of the attachments available for this guy. So for starters, of course, we do have a receiver section where we have standard all the way up through advanced. But you'll notice something as I scroll through here that is a bit interesting. This weapon actually changes visually depending on which receiver you have. Some of them are wood and some of them are black polymer for the pump. So that's pretty neat. Basically, the faster ones like the tuned receiver, the light receiver, and the powerful tuned receiver will have the black light pump, which makes a little bit of sense. It also makes the weight a little bit lighter, which is pretty cool. Then for barrels, we have the short barrel, a short ported barrel, a long barrel, and a long ported barrel. For stocks, we have a light stock, which is going to be the really neat police-style folding stock, which actually inspired this whole weapon. This configuration you're seeing right here is based on the images that we actually used to make this weapon. So this is a real thing that you can find in some old police departments. You're not really going to see it modern day, but it's pretty cool. Nice little retro look for this weapon. But we also have the short grip, which is going to be no stock at all. Just a nice little shorty shotgun, which you can pair with a short barrel. Looks really cool. The full plastic stock. The gunslinger stock, which actually has a side saddle right there with some shells for you, which gives you a faster reload. The scavenger stock gives you a nice little pouch. Normally we use this for our gunslinger stock, but since this isn't mag fed, we actually put a side saddle, and this is going to give you +5 carry weight. So if you have this little pouch on your gun, you're going to get more carry weight when you have this thing equipped, which is kind of a fun little feature. Something you don't typically see on weapons. And then finally, we have the recoil compensating stock, which is that nice sort of quote-unquote tactical stock from earlier. Not really all that tactical, but it is something you do see on shotguns with this style of grip, so we wanted to include one that's a little bit more lore-friendly. Now, we have magazine tubes. We have the standard mag tube, which is 6 rounds, the medium mag, which is 7, and the long mag, which is 8. All of those have custom animations that will extend the reload out to whatever shell number you have equipped. For sights, we have some interesting stuff. We have the standard iron sights, some glow iron sights, which are quite nice, the hollow sight, reflex sight, a laser sight, which of course has the functional laser aiming that we include in our mods, a short scope, a medium scope, and a thermal scope, which is very, very new for us. A very brand new model and a very new system for this weapon. You may have seen it already in the B-roll. You may see it after this section. I'm not sure yet. But the way that this works is we didn't actually use any scripts or any sort of frameworks. We used in-engine tools to try to make a functioning thermal scope, and it works pretty well. When you aim down the sights with this thing, it is going to light up your area in dark green, and then enemies will appear as a bright orange if they are living. This will include anything that produces heat, so robots, animals, feral ghouls, you have it. And once they die, the effect kind of goes away. But it is all in-engine, so it's not perfect, but it's pretty dang good, and it's a lot of fun on this weapon, and we'll be including it in other weapons in the future as well, because it's a pretty neat little tool to have. Now then, we have muzzles. We have the option for no muzzle, a duckbill choke, a compensator, a spiked compensator for more bash damage, a muzzle brake, and a suppressor, of course. We have an accessory slot where you have quite a few options here. We have a functional flashlight instead of your Pip-Boy light, which is a lot of fun, especially for a shotgun. The shell saddle, if you want to increase your reload speed even further, except this one, instead of being on the stock, is on the receiver. But guess what? You can use them both at the same time if you want to. And then finally, a targeting laser, separate from the functional laser. Instead of actually aiming with this one will actually mark targets as a targeting sight would do, which I think is a pretty interesting little thing. If you're a weirdo, you could have both lasers on at the same time. It actually looks really, really funny, really cool in first person. But you can kind of mix and match with all these attachments what you like to have. Make this weapon as really crazy as you'd like, or as simple as you'd like. Customization is what it's all about. And then finally, we have the final section, which is going to be, what kind of ammo do you want to put in this guy? We've got buckshot, junk shot, flechette, dragon's breath, magnum buckshot, explosive shells, which are very, very hard to craft, slug shells, pulse slugs, rifled slugs, and plasma slugs, which is a bit out there, but Pig seems to always include it whenever we have a shotgun. So if you want a late game shotgun shell, there it is for you. But be aware, that one's kind of powerful. Kind of really powerful. But yeah, I think that covers just about everything in the brand new police shotgun mod, the Remington 870. For those of you who like the real life names, this is a really, really cool one. If you want to pick it up, it'll be linked down in the description below. You can grab it right now. It's been out for a little while. We think we've got all the bugs worked out, so now it should be perfect for use in your game. As always, if you enjoyed the mod, consider dropping an endorsement, and if you enjoyed the video, consider dropping it a like. If you'd like to support my work directly, you can do so over on Patreon using the link down in the description. It is just a donation service, completely optional. That is by no means something that you have to do, but if you're into that kind of thing, it'll be there if you would like to. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!